Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 2 of the Cookie Tin Ukulele Cookielele build project. So in the first episode you saw me starting to make and glue a veneer to the headstock on one of the necks. This neck I'd already done, and so I used the first video to show you how I did this. So that veneer is still gluing up. I can't do anything with that for the time being. So I'm going to come to this neck, and there's a couple of things I want to do. With this tin, obviously it's going to mount on the top of there. Now, around the edge, you can see there's a, I'm going to call it a lump, all the way around. And it's, you know, it's where the lid sits, and that's kind of the stop, if you like, for the lid, where it fits all the way around. So, to fit the neck onto here, and for it to sit level and flush over that bump, I've got to cut a notch out of the bottom of the neck to accommodate that. So, first thing I need to do is find a flat surface to to level everything up and make some marks where I'm going to cut a little channel in the end of the neck block, I'm going to call it there, to go over the bump on here. So I'm just going to pull this mat back and reveal my flat-ish table. So put the neck face down on the table and put the body tin also face down, kind of line it up more or less where it's going to join together. So that should give me a flat level all the way across. And you know, so that's going to be up and down this way, exactly where that neck is going to mount on the tin. So then I need to grab a pencil and mark on the neck where that bump is. So carefully line that up, pencil mark that side, and then I'll have to turn it around, do the same again. On the other side, make sure it's all level. Okay, so you can probably just about see now there's a pencil mark there and a pencil mark there. So I need to draw a line across from one side to the other so that I know exactly where I need to cut that little channel. So I'm just going to carefully mark that pencil line onto the bottom side, and the same with this one. Okay, get a ruler and draw a line across there as best I can. It's quite tricky. Okay, just try and get those lined up. Okay, so drawn a line across there now. Just going to see how well they line up with the marks on the side. They look pretty good. Okay, so to actually cut that channel, I need to do it very, very carefully and very accurately. I mean, even more accurately than millimetre perfect. It's got to be thousandths of an inch or fractions of a millimetre perfect, because it needs to be the right location front to back, so that, you know, the top of the neck goes exactly flush with the top of the body, but it also needs to be correct, you know, this way or this way, so that you don't get the rotation. So I'm going to grab a couple of tools to cut that channel. I'm going to try and start with a triangle file and see Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to get a saw very quickly. As soon as I can find it. Where have I put that? Ah, there it is. Okay, so very carefully going to use a thin saw just to cut across that line. Hopefully. Got to be really, really crucially critical with this part. It's very tricky, but I'll do my best. Yeah, really tricky. Okay, bear with me a sec. Right, so I've just cut a very, very fine line in there, which is just as well because it seems to have gone out of line a bit. So, it's going to be tricky to realign that. Let's see what I can do. Seems a bit better. Yeah, that didn't go very straight, unfortunately. Let's see if I can adjust it a bit. Okay, so I'm going to now switch to the triangle file and just start to cut a channel in there. Not too deep, just a groove basically, or a notch that will, you know, snap over that little bump on the tin. I can see how it's lining up. Let's take the lid off actually for that bit. This bit. Don't actually need that. Okay, so I'm just placing that notch over that bump and see where we are. Strange, that's actually too high. Oh, I'm not taking the missing lid out. I need to put the lid back on. That's awkward. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, because I need the lid on there so I know exactly where the top of it is supposed to be. Okay, that side looks just about right. That side, it's actually not too far off. I'm going to cut that channel a bit deeper with the triangle file. Okay, let's try that. Seems to be right on one side, a bit too high. Right, I'm going to switch to a round file because that bump is kind of rounded. But I've got to try and straighten it up a bit. It's gone a little bit crooked, so try and keep that straight. So the channel's coming. I don't know if you can see, but I think it is slightly askew. That's why I'm doing it a bit at a time, because I can adjust it. File more one way than the other, for example. It doesn't seem too bad. Ready? I'm going to try it again, just with the lid off and see if it's straight or crooked. Try and get it in that groove. Yeah, it's not bad, but I can see it does need to angle round a bit. That's looking better already. It's good. It's almost deep enough as well. Let's just check that again. It's looking quite good. Okay, so I'll try and cut it a bit deeper now. I don't want to go too much, too quick. And also, I don't want to cut too much, I don't want to leave any gap, I want it to be a nice snug fit when it's all put together. Let's see how that's looking. Not bad, not too bad. The depth is just about there, let's go a little bit more for depth. There. Alignment. Not too bad. Now, as far as depth, I think I'm gonna leave it there. That looks about right. So, I don't know how well you can see that. Try and get the light on it a bit better. So I've got my channel cut in there, which fits. Can you see that? Not really. Fits over the bump that side, and the same this side. Again, I really don't know how well you can see that. And then the channel is slightly bigger than the bump, which allows me to get a little bit of wiggle on the rotation there, so I will be able to get that nice and straight when I come to attach it. Okay, so I'm going to leave that as it is for now. I might need to tweak it a little bit more later on, but that's good enough to get me started. Actually, I'm just going to try it with the lid on. I will need to cut a little bit of this lip off here as well. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't really fit properly over that, because where the neck goes, I'm going to just cut a little bit of that lip off so that it's flat. But for now, let's just put that back on. It's good that this lid is a nice tight fit as well. Right, how does that look? Yeah, that's going to be fine. It's sitting high because it's on the lip of that lid, but it will sit down further than that. So that looks just about right. Great, so I'll put the body to one side for now. Now, there's another job I need to do to this neck where I've glued the extension block on the end. Where the join is, this side and this side, you can't really see it, but there is a little bit of a gap in the join. I can get my fingernail in there and kind of run it along the groove, both sides. So, and again, you know, no matter how much paint or lacquer you use, you're always going to see that. So I need to make some filler and fill those gaps in. So I'm going to need some wood glue, some fine sawdust, which is actually from these necks, and a little spatula made out of I think it's a tongue depressor or something. Right, so, and I also need a little scrap of paper, like so. So all I do is, and it doesn't matter which order, I put some glue on the paper and some sawdust and mix them together. Like any kind of filler or epoxy, exactly the same process, just with different materials. Just fine sawdust and wood glue. And you just mix them exactly the same as you would any other kind of filler. I need to drop more glue in there, it's a little dry. You know, the key with any filler or anything like that is obviously making sure you mix it properly. And this is exactly the same, no different, but it's homemade filler. And the beauty of it is it's sawdust from this neck, so it's going to be the same colour, more or less. Okay, so I think that's well mixed. And then I need to smooth that into those gaps. Just press it in nice and firm. Again, same as any other kind of filler, exactly the same thing, same process, same rules apply. Now I'm actually going to put it on fairly thick and then sand it back when it's dry. It's not best practice with most filler to do that because it gives you so much work to do afterwards with the sanding. But I'm going to smooth it back a bit, but I want to make sure, because this does shrink, you see, when it dries, it shrinks. And I want to make sure there's enough in there. I don't care about a bit of extra sanding, it's not going to take too long really. I want to make sure those gaps are properly filled. That's one side. And the other. Used way too much on the other side. Have I got enough? Yeah, should be plenty. Good. So as I said, I want to make sure those gaps are definitely filled in. I'm not too bothered about the extra sanding. It's not a big deal. It's not a huge area. So, I know it looks really untidy, but I've filled those gaps in. So yeah, there will be a lot of sanding to do, but I would rather know that those gaps are fully filled and you know, sand it back later, and they will be better. Won't be perfect, but they'll be better. So, not much more I can do on that, obviously until that's dry. And the other neck is the same. When I put the veneer on, the glue is drying. Not much I can do until that's finished drying. So, bit of a standstill at the moment, but you know, I made a start. I am probably going to be making both of these cookieleles at the same time, you know, sort of showing different stages, as I did with the banjolele builds. I built the two of them at the same time and kind of showed the process on one of them that I'd previously done on the other, and kept switching backwards and forwards. So I'm going to do a similar thing with this project, because it just makes sense to, you know, build the two of them at once. Because I can do the same process to each of them, you know, this filling on the neck and putting the veneers on, and you know, all the rest of it. I can do each stage to both instruments at the same, not exactly at the same time, but the same period. And it's in the long run, it's just easier. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so as I said, not much more I can do at this stage until the glue has dried on these two projects. Not quite sure what the next stage will be just yet. I do know. Once the glue is dried on that headstock veneer, I'll be taking the clamps off and then shaping the veneer and re-drilling the tuner holes. Those are not really necessary. I could do those later, but the most important part is reshaping. I've got to peel off the top layer of the veneer and you know, scrape everything and sand it and get it all level and you know, shape the edges. So that will be the next thing I do probably. And after that, not sure yet, we'll see. Anyway, hope you're enjoying this new project, cookieleles, cookie tin ukuleles. They're relatively easy to build for me now, because I've done quite a few of them, probably, I don't know, 15, 20 or more, I don't know. but so you know they start to become easier, and also this shape, as opposed to the round ones, much easier. Okay, so I hope you're looking forward to episode 3 as much as I am, which will be coming soon. In the meantime, please look after yourselves, look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.